What happens when one of YouTube's original power duos, creators who helped shape the very soul of the platform, falls apart? Smosh, once the undisputed king of YouTube comedy, seemed unstoppable. But behind the sketches, behind the laughter, was a storm brewing that eventually shattered everything. Was it corporate greed, creative burnout, or just two best friends outgrowing a shared dream? Today, we unpack the dramatic fall of Smosh and what really happened after the OG duo split. Stick around, because this story isn't just about views and virality. It's about identity, loyalty, and the unpredictable tides of internet. The golden age of Smosh. Long before YouTube was a business, it was a playground. And Anthony Padilla and Ian Hecox were its class clowns. Their chemistry was electric. Videos like the Pokemon theme song Lip Sync or Beef and Go didn't just entertain, they defined early YouTube culture. There was no production team, no budget, no brand guidelines. Just two best friends, a camera, and an audience that grew faster than anyone could imagine. Smosh became YouTube's most subscribed channel multiple times, not because they chased trends, but because they were authentic. Fans weren't just watching videos, they were watching a friendship unfold. But with success came structure. What started as spontaneous fun slowly morphed into a machine. The early 2000s Smosh era was like lightning in a bottle, raw, hilarious, and deeply human. From creators to employees. As YouTube exploded into a business empire, so did the pressure to scale. In 2011, Smosh signed with Alloy Digital, a media company that promised more resources, better reach, and the ability to grow. The duo gained access to a full crew, studios, even a magazine, and multiple spin-off channels. But with the growth came a price: autonomy. Sketches were no longer just passion projects. They became scheduled deliverables filtered through executives and brand strategy meetings. Alloy would later merge into Defy Media, and the changes became more profound. Smosh was no longer the two-man show people fell in love with. It became a brand with deadlines, sponsors, and boardroom decisions. The fun was fading, and for Anthony Padilla, so was the soul of what they built. Anthony leaves Smosh. On June 14, 2017, Anthony Padilla dropped a bombshell that would send shockwaves reverberating across the entire YouTube landscape. In an emotional and deeply personal video, he announced his departure from Smosh, the comedy empire he co-founded with Ian Hecox. But this wasn't your typical YouTube fallout filled with petty drama or behind-the-scenes foods. This was something much deeper, something more human. Anthony explained that his decision to leave wasn't about tension with Ian, whom he still considered a brother, but rather about a quiet and persistent kind of pain, creative suffocation. At the time, Smosh was no longer just a channel run by two friends with a camera. It had become part of a larger corporate entity. With that shift came rules, restrictions, and a sense of rigid structure that drained the spontaneity and joy from the content. Anthony felt trapped in a mold that no longer fit who he was or who he wanted to become. The fire that once drove his creativity had slowly been extinguished by boardroom decisions and branding strategies. The laughter felt manufactured. The sketches felt rehearsed. And most of all, he no longer felt like he was creating something that truly represented him. Ian, though heartbroken by the announcement, stood by his longtime partner and released his own video confirming the news. His tone was solemn but supportive. There were no harsh words, no finger-pointing, just mutual respect and the shared pain of closing a chapter that had defined both of their lives. For fans, it was the end of an era. Smosh, once the raw, chaotic, hilarious product of two best friends, would never quite be the same. The fallout. After Anthony left, Ian tried to keep Smosh alive. The sketches continued, new cast members were introduced, and the channel leaned heavily into group content and ensemble humor. But something was missing. The dynamic that made Smosh so magnetic, the honest friendship between two best friends, was gone. View counts dwindled. Fan engagement dipped. The channel still had numbers, but the cultural grip it once held had clearly slipped. To make things worse, in 2018, Defy Media abruptly shut down. Employees were laid off without warning. Smosh, along with other properties, was effectively left homeless. The creators were locked out of their own projects overnight. It was corporate chaos at its worst. For fans, it was heartbreaking. For Ian and the remaining Smosh team, it was survival mode. Anthony's second act. While Smosh struggled, Anthony thrived. Free from corporate interference, he launched his own channel focused on deep, empathetic interviews with people from often misunderstood subcultures. I Spent a Day With became his signature series. From furries to ex-cult members to people with rare conditions, Anthony's channel exploded. Fans saw him not just as a funny guy, but as a thoughtful, compassionate creator with a unique voice. Within months, he gained millions of subscribers. The creative freedom he longed for was finally his, and he made the most of it. In many ways, Anthony's post-Smosh success validated his decision to walk away. He didn't just survive, he evolved. Smosh Rebirth. Here's where the plot twists. In 2019, YouTuber Rhett and Link purchased Smosh through their company Mythical Entertainment. This saved the channel from oblivion. The crew got a new home, funding returned, and content resumed. Ian was still involved, and slowly, the channel began to stabilize. Though it never returned to its former dominance, the Smosh brand endured. Then, in 2023, something unexpected happened. Anthony Padilla returned. In a surprise reunion video titled "We Bought Smosh," Anthony and Ian announced that they had reacquired the brand themselves. Smosh was, once again, owned by its original creators. The duo was back, not just for nostalgia, but to reignite the creative spark that started it all. It was a full-circle moment. Two best friends who had drifted apart due to corporate control had reunited to reclaim their creation. Fans rejoiced. The videos felt different, fresher, freer, and somehow familiar. What the fall of Smosh really means. The story of Smosh isn't just about algorithms, ad revenue, or viral videos. It's about creators navigating the impossible balance between passion and profit. It's about what happens when art meets industry, and when friendships are tested by fame and responsibility. Smosh fell because it lost its soul in the shuffle of corporate structure, but it didn't stay down. The very creators who built it from nothing took it back, proving that authenticity can survive, even in an ecosystem as fast-changing and profit-driven as YouTube. It's a rare story of creative redemption in a space where most endings are silent fade-outs. Smosh didn't just fall, it fought back. So, what do you think? Was Anthony's departure the only way forward? Could Smosh have survived the corporate era without losing its way? The story is still being written, but one thing's for sure, this isn't just a tale of rise and fall. It's a story of rebirth. And in the ever-changing world of YouTube, that might be the most powerful arc of all. If you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. There's a lot more coming your way.